I'm working on the in the product management of Focus Run and Cloud ALM, and I'm responsible for the topics business service management and health monitoring, which I'm going to present here. So the name of the session today is business service management and health monitoring of hybrid landscapes with SAP Cloud ALM. Very long name. So it's mainly about two applications I want to talk about. It's business service management and health monitoring. Both are a little bit to set the stage, perhaps. I mean, this is the operation slide, which you should have seen yesterday in the keynote by Janko. So this explains a little bit what all we have in Cloud ALM. I'm going to minimize this here so you can see it better. So we have on one hand side, we have some kind of we have an inbound integration, so we want to monitor, so we can now have some inject some metrics. We have monitoring use cases which collects data, so we have business process monitoring, integration exception monitoring, synthetic releaser monitoring, and you see here we have health monitoring. So this is one part I will talk about, and then we have the monitoring use cases, collecting metrics. Then we have the heart is in the end, or the heart or the brain is this intelligent event processing, which allows us now out of these situations which we detect in the monitoring to create now follow-up actions like alerts or emails, or that we say we give this information out to some other analytics tools, or we can start an operation flow. And then also as an outbound, you will have then emails, tickets, tasks, whatever possible to follow up on the issues which we have detected here in the end. And on top of it all, so spanning over it all, we have also the business service management. And what this is about, I would now start first. Okay, business service management. The idea here is to say we have business service management is that we get information about the status of all your cloud services and of all your on-premise systems in a central location. So what we are currently already doing is that we say we are collecting from the Cloud Availability Center. So here in the Cloud Availability Center, you will know that here we publish information about outages or about maintenance times, which we have on the services which are hosted by SAP. And this information we now also collect into the Business Service Manager application of Cloud ALM. So we get here about from all the cloud services information about disruptions, degradations, maintenance information, and also communication events where we give some updates to the services. And in business service management, you have then the possibility to create business services. What this is doing is a little bit I will explain in the next slide. And then we can show which business services are then affected by downtimes and disruptions which we have detected. We also, this is not yet implemented, but we are also currently building here the possibility to inject also metrics from or events from the monitoring use cases. So that we can also say from a measurement, from a monitoring of your services, which you are doing in another application, for example, integration monitoring, we would detect that something severe is not working. So for example, you would see that in general, processing of a specific documents is no longer possible in a cloud service. Something like this could be detected in integration monitoring, and then integration monitoring could decide to create, for example, a degradation event and say here now currently this cloud service has a degradation, and this information is then also planned to be available in the business service management. And also it's possible for users already now to create disruptions and maintenance times manually. So in the end, we want to collect all this information in business service management, and we also want to give back this information to the monitoring use cases. So if you see, for example, you have an issue in a monitoring use case, you could see, oh, it's already known that there is a disruption on the system, or it could also be that there is a planned maintenance on the system. And yeah, so the capabilities we have in business service management is that we create business services as a collection of cloud services and systems. And And we import the events which are triggered by SAP. So as I said, maintenance, disruption, degradation, communication events. And then from that, we are able to, as a follow-up action, trigger notifications, operation flows, alerts by the integration of IEP. And these two use cases, you see it here, the stars, what is planned currently also to have information from monitoring use cases to business service management. And also we want to publish this information from BSM to all the monitoring use cases. So this is something which we are planning for Q3 and Q4 of this year. And then you can also maintain specific events. So you can say, for example, you have an on-premise system. And for on-premise systems, for example, if the system is operated by you and is part of your hybrid landscape, you will not get this information by the Cloud Availability Center because it's your system, right? So there is no possibility that SAP would know when you are planning maintenance on your system. And that's why you would have the possibility also in business service management to create such maintenance events by yourself manually. And can say, for example, my S/4HANA system has a maintenance regularly on a Sunday every 4 weeks. So you can also maintain reoccurring events. And then this information is also visible to to your end users. And what we also are providing in business service management is that we have a service level management functionality so that we can calculate out of the events which we now collect centrally from all the use cases, that we can calculate what is the service level quality of a service. So in the end, this is the, you can say how much of the time was the service available, was it usable or not? And this can then be calculated to a monthly level. So for example, you will see what is your monthly availability of your business service. And on this, you can then also set thresholds to see if you have any issues with this business service. Okay, now I have talked a lot about business service. Let's see what is a business service. The idea of business services is to say you have your end users, you have your business users. We have a hybrid landscape consisting of a lot of products, so very agile in the end. And there's a lot of terms. I mean, you see it here. I created here some kind of word cloud out of cloud services offerings which we have at SAP. And it's a lot of terms which will typically not be known to the end users. So business user typically does not know that his lead to cash process is running if in this process also now an integration suite is involved or whatever is needed to run his lead to cash service. So what we provide here in business service management is that you can define a list of cloud services and on-premise systems together to say, yes, this is they are building a group for special functionality. And then you can give it a name which is understandable to the end users. So you can say, for example, you create a business service lead to cash, which bundles all the cloud services and on-premise systems which are needed for the processing of your lead to cash process. Or the same for another business process, hire to retire. But it does not have to be on a business process level. So it could also be that you say you have two different marketing organizations. One is in London, one is in New York. They want to know if all their systems are up and running. And then you can build business services and as an administrator and say which cloud services and which on-premise systems belong to it. And then this is in the end a little bit an abstraction layer to your end users that they would know if they are working in the marketing organization of London. They can have then a daily view, for example, to see if everything is fine. Or they can say they want to get notified in case something is happening somewhere for the marketing organization in London. So if any event is then detected, this will be visible on the business service management, and you can then, as said, also have follow-up actions, for example, like creating emails if something is going wrong. And you see, this is completely up to you. So you can say here, these are my training systems, or this is my development environment in Amsterdam, or you can also say this is team A, team B, if different teams work on different need different services or systems. So that's the high-level idea. So to give, on one hand side, the overview and abstract a little bit from the technical terms here, and nevertheless having a possibility to let your end users know if something is going wrong. So the first thing which we have in the business service management when we enter the application is that we have a status overview. So here you will see all the business services which are in scope. So like in the other monitoring applications, we have also a scope setting where you can say which business services am I interested in. So this is a personalized view that you can say, yes, perhaps the Cloud ALM administrator has created 20 business services, but I'm only interested in 2 or 5 of them. And then you can select them from here. And then whenever you, this is persisted, and whenever you enter the business service management application, you will see the current status of all your business services you're interested in. And here on this overview page, we show what is the current state of your business services. So they could be in normal operation if you have not detected any events. We could see, for example, there is a disruption ongoing. You see how long is the disruption happening. We will see, you can see, for example, in a normal operation, when will be the next planned maintenance. Could also be interesting for you to know that there will be a maintenance tomorrow, which will perhaps also affect you, so that you cannot work with this service. Or if it's a maintenance going on, as a maintenance is a planned event, we will know how long the maintenance is planned to run. So we will show you the remaining time until the system is available again, which we typically cannot do it in a disruption, because disruption you would not know when it is completed, hopefully soon. But so here we have the duration for disruption and degradations, and for maintenance as it is planned, you will have the remaining time. And then you can also click on this info button to have more details. I can also perhaps quickly show you in the system so that we don't have only slides here. So let me do a refresh. So I'm entering here the business service management. I see here the lead to cash process has a disruption currently since 39 minutes. You see all the other business services are currently in normal operation, no issues detected. You see here also a little bit already the service level. So the service level, as said, is defined you can define on a business service, and we see here, due to this disruption, now the service level of this business service is going down. Currently, we are at 99.78% of the service level quality for the current month. And this is still okay. It's not yet breaching the threshold. That's why it's not green. So it's not 100%, but it's not yet red. If it would have exceeded the total SLA which you have maintained for the month, you would see then here it is in red color. You can also, as said, you can click here on the information icon, and then you will see here the lead to cash process. We have then always a little bit a description which you can maintain when you create a business service. We see here currently we have some issues with the S4HANA system S4P since 11:05. This is my time, so this is now a CET time, so this is translated into your local time zone. And then also we see here the administrator said that there's a database failure. So this is a manually created event, as this is an on-premise system. So in this case, now the administrator has maintained that there's a database failure and that they are currently working on this. And so this is then an instrument for the end users to know that something is affected. And below you will see then also which cloud services and systems are here assigned to this lead to cash process. And that's it, mainly on the overview page. The setup of this is also quite easy. So we have here in the on the right hand side in the configuration pane, typically when you create a business service, you can just provide a name, a description, and then you can add all your cloud services where you say you want to be a part of this business service, or also technical systems. You can maintain the service level objective, and then you save it, and then the information will be available to your end users. And if you are an end user, as said, we have here the scope selection. Here you will see all the or the business services which are created. And you see here there are 2 business services which I'm not interested in, so I've deselected it. And this information is then also persisted. And the next time you will log in, you will only see always your business service. Okay, let's come back to the presentation. So next thing, what we have additionally to the status overview. I mean, the status overview is just the current state. If you want to know about the history, we have also the event calendar. And in the event calendar, you can also go back in time to see yes, how many events did you have in the past. Also here you will typically see disruptions and degradations, also maintenance which have already happened. And also into the future, there you will typically, of course, only see maintenances because we would not know when a disruption will happen. So for future event, you will only see maintenance events. And the type of event is indicated here by the color. So the disruption is always shown in a red color. A degradation would be in orange color, and maintenance is blue. Also going back to the application, so you have here the event calendar. You see for all your events, which for all your business services which are in scope, you see the events. You see here also this current event which was created. So this database failure which was created, and so yeah, we will always have the details. You can select here the time frame. Of course, you can say you want to see a complete month. Then you have a little bit better overview. You see, for example, also a disruption, a degradation, which is in the orange color. You see also other disruptions. And for all these, you will have then information. When did it start? When did it end? What was the duration? You see in the action log what has happened. So here we said when was it when it was detected, what is the issue, and also if the issue has resolved, they will give you information what was the fix. So this information is coming from the Cloud Availability Center. And we have this information on the business service level. If you want to know more details, which of the objects, how do my events distribute to my cloud services and systems, you can also click here. And now we will concentrate only on lead to cache, so only on one business service. And now we have below this all the cloud services and systems which are assigned. And you see, for example, here, this disruption here, this came from the S/4HANA system, and this disruption here, as well as this disruption here, came from the event mesh. And then, as said, you will always have the possibility to have the detailed information here. Okay, this was the event calendar, and this I have also shown. So when you click on the event in the calendar, you have the detailed information. You have the action log. You have also the possibility to create an event. This I did not show you. So here we have also create event button, and here you can then say for which business service you want to create an event, or you can also create an event on a system or service level for the systems and services which are part of the business services. You can say what type is it? Is it a maintenance, disruption, a degradation? You can have its start time and end time, and then you can create it. And the last part, which I want to show, is the service level reporting. So now I'd shown here in the overview that we have the service level reports capability here, which we want to see per business service, what is my service level quality. And the third page, which we have here, is then exactly this service level reporting. So you can see here now, for example, for July, it's a little bit the same information what we have in the event calendar, but now calculated down to a daily availability of your business service. So we see here today, all the business services are at 100%, except my lead to cache, which is now for this day today at 94.1%. Also here, you have the possibility to have a monthly view or a 3-month view or a yearly view. So in the yearly view, for example, you will get information about each month. So the availability of each month. Perhaps I can also click this. Takes, of course, a little bit longer because we have to collect now all the events for all months of this year. And here you see, for example, yes, we have some, the total availability we have only for source to pay, and all the others have a little bit more affected service level quality. And then you see here also what is the settings for this service levels. So we have here a service level objective of 99.5%. That's why they are still all not red. You see which time zone is this the quality calculated. So depending if on the time zone, of course, one event can fall into one day or another day. So that's why the time zone is also important to specify. And you can also say if you have specific working days. So you can either say you have this 24/7 operations, then all disruptions are counted, or you can say I'm just interested in events which are falling into a specific time frame. So in this case, we only care about issues happening from Monday to Friday between 6 and 8 o'clock in the evening, and on Saturday and Sunday between 10 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is up to you, that you can say, yes, I don't want to get, for example, I don't want to get notified if something is failing outside of these business hours here. And also here we have then a possibility to drill into the details. So if you click then on the name of a business service, you will see a detailed report now for the complete year 2022 of this business service. You see here the availability per month in a bar chart. You see here information, what was my achieved service level, what is my objective, how much total disruption time did I have. So you see here I had 14 disruptions with 3.5 hours of disruption time. You see here which events have we collected. And then you will see also the information which of the business services, which of the cloud services you have in your business service are here affected and have contributed to the disruption. Okay, so coming back to the presentation. Yeah, service level objective maintenance is also I had shown already. The only thing which perhaps also is important to mention, you can on one hand side, of course, you can maintain the service level objective on each business service. As said, you can set here what is my objective, what is my time zone, do I want to have business hours or 24/7 operations. But as you typically don't want to do this now for each business service again and again, you also have a possibility to maintain this globally. So you can say here you have a global settings for your service level objective. If you say, for example, all my business services should have the same setting, then you can maintain it here. And then on the business services itself, you can then I have to click OK. You can then here say, do you want to take over the global settings or not? So in this case here, it is this business service is using the global settings. And if you don't want to do so, if you want to say, no, I want to specify this differently, then you can remove this flag and maintain whatever you want. Okay, so that's it about business service management. Sorry, I have to rush a little bit through because I have to also present the health monitoring part. So questions I will take then in the end. Second use case is the health monitoring. Health monitoring is a little bit, mainly about monitoring of technical metrics you would want to monitor for your cloud services and systems from customer perspective. So especially in the cloud environment, if you have a SaaS service, it depends a little bit. I mean, in your hybrid landscape, it depends a little bit on the operations mode of a service or of a system. What do you have to monitor? Of course, if you have an on-premise system, if you operate it on yourself, you need to complete visibility, like you had in system monitoring in Solution Manager. You would have to know what are all my metrics of my S/4HANA system. So how many users are there on? What is the memory usage? Are there any short dumps? but also down to the information, is my database in a healthy state? Is the database running? What is the memory usage of the database, and also of the host where this is running on? You also want to know CPU memory utilization and so on. If you are talking about pure cloud services, which are SaaS services, which are operated by SAP, you don't have to care about this, right? All this is done by SAP. And SAP has to do the monitoring, and SAP has also internal tools to monitor this. But as a customer, typically you would not have to know about memory utilization of your services. And so in the end, what is provided here from a content point of view is really completely different between the types of services. But also for SaaS services, you will need to have some information which you have to monitor, because some aspects you also have to maintain or keep in mind as a customer. For example, you would have to maintain, for your communication, you would typically have to maintain certificates, maintain connections, and these connections are using certificates, and these certificates have to be valid, so they should not be expired. And such things would also be interesting for you to know, that you want to know, for example, if are all my certificates valid, and are they about to expire? And ideally, you would get an alert before they expire, so you can already have some proactive alerting on this. And all this information, in the end, we want to provide in health monitoring. So we want to have monitoring capabilities for all the different products, cloud services, and on-premise systems. We want to have analytics capabilities to look into the history of each metric which we are collecting. And we want to have alerting capabilities to say, yes, I want to see if something is failing. I want to get notified by email. I want to perhaps create tickets automatically when something is happening. And this is the alerting part. And as you see it here below, we want to monitor public and private cloud services and on-premise systems. So in the end, the complete hybrid landscape you can have. And the types of metrics which we are collecting here on one hand side could be pure availability checks, some pings if something is available or not. It could be a health status that you say, yes, you're asking a component, are you fine? And the component is doing some local checks and will give you the information if everything is okay, or if it has detected some issues. For example, if it could not connect to the database or things like this, this could be a health status. We could have metrics, pure numbers, which we collect. So, for example, you could collect number of users on a system, or we could have information about resource usage. So we could say, yes, what is the memory usage? So we could say, what is the current memory usage? What is the maximum memory which is defined in your configuration? And then we can calculate the usage and provide this information. And then, for example, on this usage, you could say, if my current memory usage is at 95%, I want to have an alert. Okay, monitoring overview, you can see we have, again, also an overview page in the health monitoring. So here you will see all the cloud services and all the on-premise systems which are in scope. You also have a scope selection, like in business service management. So the same principle like in business service management, that you can define your own scope, which is persisted here, and then these services will be shown to you also next time. And in this overview page, you will see what is currently being monitored. Are there any issues detected? So you see how many services or systems are in a critical state, meaning that we have identified some metrics where some thresholds have been reached, or where critical situations have been detected. We are showing this information per service type here. We have information about the number of alerts which are visible. We can then also jump from here to the alert inbox to see these alerts. And yeah, then you can go into each of the systems to see it in detail. So the next step is then a little bit the analytics part, where you can see all the metrics. So perhaps it's better if I show it directly in the system, because the screenshot is not so nice here. So you see here, this is now the the landscape I'm monitoring here. For example, I have here BTP Neo environment where I want to have more information. And if I go here inside, I will first see, yeah, there's currently only one BTP Neo tenant which I'm monitoring here. It has a health of 99%. So you see, this is calculated by the number of critical metrics which we have detected. So we have 54 metrics in OK state, one in critical state. That's why it's not 100% healthy. And if you go then inside inside this, so in the end, this is now a BTP Neo sub account I'm monitoring. And here on the sub account, I'm monitoring here 7 applications. And you see here, one of these applications is currently not running. And we have here for each of the products then some high level information about the most important KPIs which we calculate here. Then you can click here on such a card, and then you will see the details on the right hand side. So we see here, for example, in this case, the dinner to go application is stopped while all the other applications are running. So this is in the end one issue. Or what you could also do here, you would see here also the all the applications which are configured here to be monitored with the most important KPIs. So you see here, for example, the meeting room application is currently having a CPU load of 7%, while the used newsletter has 3%. But you can also get this information here from the top. So you see here the maximum CPU load, what we currently have here is 20%. And if you click here, you will see which is the application currently having the most CPU load. And so you see this on the right-hand side. You see here always the current value. And if you want to have information about the history, you can then click on this button here. And then you will see the history of the CPU load. You can select also the time frame here that you say here. Now you see for this case, we take the last 24 hours by default, but you could also say here, I want to see the last 30 days or the last 2 days. So time frame selection is possible here. You can also say you want to see, currently we are filtering on this application planning calendar. If you want to see all applications, you can, for example, reset this filter. Or you can also say you select here some specific applications. And what you can also do is you can also change the resolution. So we typically collect the metrics every 5 minutes. So we have here now to have not too much data. We have a 15 minutes resolution, but we could also change this. You can also say, I want to have this now in a 5-minute resolution. And then again, you could have this information also for all applications, but yeah, in this case, I guess it's better than to focus on one of these to analyze in detail. Okay, then this was the quick overview. So this was the analytics part. Next part is then the alerting. So if we have then defined, so we can define, of course, thresholds, custom thresholds, you can define by yourself. We have also some thresholds out of the box, which we are checking wherever it makes sense. And then if such thresholds are reached, you can then define that you want to create alerts based on this. Or you can also say you want to get not an alert, but you want to get an email notification, or perhaps also create a ServiceNow ticket. So we have also in the meantime a bridge to ServiceNow. We could also create tickets here. And you see here an example of an email which you would get. So this is how it would look like. You would say, for example, for BTP Neo, for Java application status in BTP Neo, you want to get an email. And then in this email, you would have here the information. In this case, now the application contact merge has stopped at 7th of May. You see here the time. And this could also be other metrics, of course. And then you will see here in the table below all the metrics which have contributed to this alert. And then below, you will also have to jump in to the monitoring application again. Okay, John, so this was mainly the functionality. So let's talk a little bit about the content, what we have. So here's a little bit the list of services and systems which we currently support. I mean, of course, this is constantly growing. We are working on increasing this content. And what we have so far is that we have for BTP, we have some information on the ABAP environment, Cloud Foundry and Neo environment. We have monitoring data for Cloud ALM itself, for HANA Cloud, for integration suite, API management and cloud integration, for SAP IRPA. So these were the cloud services we are currently supporting, and from on-premise systems we have information about Business Suite, S/4HANA Private Cloud, and SuccessFactors Employee-Centric Payroll. So here, as these are on-premise systems, you will have to set up as a transaction where you can set up the connectivity to Cloud ALM. You have to set the flag for health monitoring to collect data, and then this is automatically run. Regarding the time, as we also want to have a Q&A session, I don't know how much time do I still have left? I'll just quickly go through the remaining slides, and I try to be fast but still explain something, and then we can have the Q&A session. Yeah, so here a little bit more into details what exactly we have on the different products. So for on-premise systems, S/4HANA Business Suite, we have information about the ABAP system, so web process utilization, short dumps, heap memory, ICM gateway resources. For the HANA database, we will have information about the status of the HANA database and the memory and CPU utilization. And on host level, you will have information about CPU, memory, and disk, for example. And as I said, HANA Business Suite, this is an on-premise system. That's why we are really having this detailed information. If we now check Integration Suite, Cloud Integration, which is a SaaS service, which is operated by SAP, here you will not have information about memory or CPU, but as said, you want to monitor your certificates, for example. So you see here for your cloud integration tenant, how many certificates are currently expired. So they are already in critical status or about to expire. And then when you click here, you will see the details, which certificates are already expired or are going to expire soon. And another thing you can also monitor in the integrations in the cloud integration is the JMS resources. So if you're using JMS queues, you want to know if your queues are all active or if there are any queues full. So if the queue capacity is reached, it will not be able to further process messages, and that's why it's also important to monitor this. So it's mainly if you have a SaaS service, it's really more from an application perspective we are doing here monitoring. And depending on each product, this can be different. For example, for API management, in API management, we don't have JMS queues here. We can currently only monitor certificates. For the Cloud Foundry, you have the possibility to say you want to get notified in case an application is crashing or if a HANA service is restarted. So here currently we can only consume alert notification events. And you can then say for which alert notification events do you want to create also an alert in the in health monitoring. For BTP Neo environment, we have the same for the availability check of Java applications and for the HANA database. But as additionally, like I have shown in the demo, we get information about the applications running on the BTP Neo account. We have more details like application status, response time, CPU, memory, and disk space. For sub IRPA, we have information about the different environments where your robots are running, where you can see how many jobs are currently overall running, how many are scheduled. And yeah, if you would see that the number of scheduled jobs is rising, for example, it's an indicator that there are not enough resources to process them or you have a standstill. And so this is something you can monitor here. For SAP HANA Cloud, it's one of the new things we just have recently added is we get information about the database availability and the ping time to the HANA Cloud instance. We have information about the CPU of the database, the host CPU, and also memory consumption of the database and of the host, and also disk usage, and information about the number of connections and transactions. And yeah, last but not least, we are also having content for Cloud ALM itself. So the idea here is to say we provide also in Cloud ALM itself some self-monitoring capabilities so that you can get notified, for example, if something is not working in the aspect of a Cloud ALM application. And or for example, if you say there are some data collectors in a use case not running correctly, you can also get notified. Or what we can also display here is the memory size. So if you want to know how much memory are you currently using in your current tenant, you can see this here in the HANA memory size. And if you go to the details, you can even see which applications in Cloud ALM are contributing to this HANA size. Okay, then I'm at the end. So yeah, sorry, I had to rush it a little bit for the health monitoring part, but yeah, I would now be open for questions.
Thank you, Matthias. In the Q&A window, I see just one question. Probably I could read out for you. The question is, where can we maintain the email IDs for sending out alert notifications? Also, is there a possibility to change the configuration setting, thresholds, metrics, etc., like in Solman?
Yeah, the email recipients you can maintain in the notification management. So notification management is I can pretty quickly demo this. If I go to let's make this a tab. If I'm going to the Launchpad, there is one application which is called Notification Management, and here you can maintain all your recipients, and the recipients also have to agree that they, I mean, due to GDPR compliance, they have to agree that they want to receive these emails. So you can here maintain recipients. When you add a recipient here, he will get an email. And if he's clicking on this email and confirming that he really wants to get emails from Cloud ALM, then he is here displayed as verified. And this enables it then to send emails to these users. And if we are, for example, in health monitoring, if you want to say, now I want to send out an email to a user, we can go to the configuration. And then if you configure, for example, now my BTP Neo, you will see here the configuration for this. So here you can first maintain your thresholds, where you say, yes, when should it become red? So for example, here we say if the memory is exceeding 90%, it should be a warning, and 95% it should be red. And here in the events part, we have then different events defined, which can then be triggered if something is happening. For example, Java memory utilization. And here you can now say what should happen with this if this event situation is detected. So you can say, for example, you create an alert, and you can also say here send an email. And if you click then here, you will see all the email recipients which are confirmed in the notification management. So here now I could search my own user and can say now in this case I want to get an email. And then this is being saved. Does this answer the question? I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. There's one more question. It goes like this. You mentioned about automatic incidents creation. Will it be integrated with ITSM? As right now, ITSM not available in Calm. So how does it work?
Yeah, currently there is no integration. So as I said, we have integration to alerting. We have our own alert inbox. So you see this here, the capabilities which we have. We can create alerts. We can send emails. We can start operations flow. We can create a ServiceNow ticket if ServiceNow connection is set up. We are planning to extend this also in the future. So it's also planned to have other actions, like, for example, to say, I want to send an information into Slack, or I want to send information into Teams, and yeah, other tools can then also be integrated in the future. Yeah, so this is planned to be extendable, and it's also planned to have here really for the integration of third parties where you want to say send information to. It's also planned that that we provide webhooks which can be then configured by the customer itself. So if you have a custom a custom service where you want to send information to, you could then use this webhook.
Okay, here comes the next one. Will we have to maintain the email notifications individually for each metric or event, or can we maintain a global setting too?
Global settings we do not yet have in health monitoring. Currently, you have to really configure this on a single level. So you have to say which alerts do you, which events you want to monitor, who should get notified. But this is what on our backlog to provide some mass configuration capabilities that you can say you don't have to do this now metric by metric or alert by alert. That you will have a possibility similarly to the thing which we've seen in business service management, that you can say, yes, this is my default recipient list, and that you can then also activate this on a mass configuration level.
Okay.
But not yet, unfortunately, but this will come.
We have everything lined up. Thank you, Matthias.
Okay.
So I do not see any further questions in the Q&A. So thank you so much, Matthias, and thank you for the audience who had dialed in for the session. If you would like to stay connected and get a few more questions answered, please feel free to join the ALM booth, the link of which has been posted in the chat. When you join the ALM booth, please choose the room. There are breakout rooms, and please choose the breakout room which is named as operations to get connected with Matthias and get your questions answered. There is also the SAP ALM Summit APJ 2022 quiz that is already open. So please do take part in that. You could also win the chance of winning the goodie at the end of the session when the results will be announced. Thank you so much for joining in. And there are lined up of sessions for tomorrow as well. Do not miss. Let us catch up again and get the ALM session rocking it again. Thank you so much, Matthias. Have a nice rest of the day. And thank you, colleagues, for joining from wherever you are. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thanks, Matthias.